Let me ask you something direct. Easter is less than a week away. Your kids are going to be at that table. Your wife is going to be there. Her family might be there. Your family might be there. And right now, in your gut, you already know the marriage is not where it needs to be. She's distant or cold or present in her body, but nowhere near you emotionally. And Easter weekend is coming whether you're ready or not. Here is what most men do in the days before a holiday like this. They hope things will go okay. They figure they'll just see how it goes. They tell themselves, it'll be nice, I'll be helpful. I'll still try to be present. And then they walk in completely unprepared. And by Sunday afternoon, something goes sideways. A look, a silence, a moment where she does not reach for your hand at the dinner table. And instead of being a data point, it becomes a wound because you had no plan. You were just hoping. My name is Noah Allen. I built the heroic husband method for men who are done hoping and ready to lead. If your marriage has been in a hard season, if she has been emotionally checked out, if you have been trying everything and nothing seems to land, this video is your Easter game plan. We're going to talk about why holiday weekends are not neutral. We are even going to name the 3 mistakes that most men make in the 4 days before Easter. And I'm going to give you a real framework, not just tips, not just tricks, for how to show up in a way that actually matters. So stay with me. Now, here is the first thing that you need to understand about Easter and every holiday like it. It is not a break from the emotional temperature of your marriage. It is actually an amplifier. Think about a regular Tuesday. There is a schedule, there is work, there are kids to get to school, there are errands, meetings, pickups. All of that structure creates distance. And that distance, as painful as it has also been quietly absorbing the tension. Easter strips away all of that. You are in the same house, extended time, family gatherings, photos, traditions, all of it woven together in one extended window of forced proximity. And what that does is remove the buffer that she has been using to manage the pain that she's carrying. Now she's there with you, no escape into the schedule. And everything that she has been quietly carrying is right at the surface. If the emotional temperature between you two has been cold, Easter does not warm it up automatically. It turns up the heat on what has already been there. Most men do not realize this. They walk in thinking the holiday will do the heavy lifting for them, that the food and the family and the Easter baskets will create a moment of connection. And then when it does not happen, when she is still quiet, still distant, still somewhere else emotionally, they feel blindsided because they were never watching what was really going to happen. Here is what she's doing during a weekend like Easter. She's measuring, not consciously. She's not sitting there running a scorecard in her head, but her nervous system is tracking. Every moment that you react to stress the way the old you would, she registers it. Every moment that you hold yourself together in a situation that would have cracked the old you, she registers that too. She's not reading your words, she's reading your patterns. And a holiday weekend, with all its pressure and unpredictability, is one of the most concentrated pattern-revealing environments that exists. This is why the next 4 days matter more than you think. And this is why you need a plan. Before I give you that plan, though, if you're watching this and you're in a marriage that has been cold or breaking for a while, and you want more than a video, my team does free consultation calls. The link is in the description below. The call is not a pitch. It is a real conversation about your specific situation. We figure out exactly where you are, what is driving, what you are experiencing, and what the next steps looks like. You can grab also the Heroic Husband Method book. That's for $8.99 down below and on Amazon as well. That link is in the description. Those are 2 ways to get real support in your hands right now. Okay, let's talk about the mistakes, because there are 3 specific patterns I see men fall into during the holidays like Easter all the time. And they all come from the same root. They are leading from panic instead of from presence. So mistake number 1 is the grand gesture play. A man whose marriage is in crisis walks into Easter weekend and decides that this is the window. He plans something big, maybe buys flowers. He arranges a surprise. He coordinates the perfect day. He is engineering the moment. And the reason this fails is not because the gesture is bad. It is because she can feel what is underneath it. When you are in panic mode, when you're trying to manufacture connection because you are terrified of what happens if you do not, that energy comes through everything. The flowers smell like desperation. The surprise feels like a transaction. The effort reads as, please come back to me, instead of, I'm a steady man you can trust. And the feminine mirrors and multiplies whatever energy the masculine brings. When you bring panic dressed as effort, she does not feel loved. She feels the weight of your anxiety and she pulls back from it. The grand gesture in a broken marriage is almost always the wrong move. Not because love should not be expressed, but because love expressed from panic is not love, it's survival. And she knows the difference. Mistake number 2 is the disappearing act. Some men go the other direction. They decide that since nothing seems to work, they will just stay out of her way. Give her space. Let the holidays happen around them. Do their job with the kids, keep the peace, and stay invisible. And they think that they're being respectful. What they're actually doing is confirming her worst fear, that you are not there, that when the weight gets heavy, you check out, that she's carrying this alone and always will be. Staying invisible is not peace. It is abandonment dressed up as restraint. And here is what is important to understand about this mistake. Most men who go invisible during the holidays are not doing it because they do not care. They're doing it because they are terrified of doing the wrong thing. Yeah, that's what's actually underneath it. But an absent man is already doing the wrong thing. She does not need you to be perfect. She needs you to be present. She needs to see that you are in the house, in this weekend, in this family, fully. Mistake number 3 is trying to fix it at the table. Easter dinner, family around, a moment opens up. Maybe she makes a comment. Maybe there's just quiet tension there. Maybe you read something in her face and the temptation is overwhelming. You want to address it right there, in the middle of the meal, in front of everyone. Or you pull her aside in the kitchen and try to start a conversation that is not ready to be had yet. And what happens is predictable. She shuts down harder, the moment gets worse, and you feel more powerless. And now you have added a layer of exposure on top of the original wound. Holidays are not the place to excavate the pain. That is a different conversation, one that requires preparation, privacy, and emotional readiness on both sides. A holiday weekend is the place to show her something, not tell her something, show her. And that is the bridge into what actually the game plan looks like. So let me tell you about a guy we had as a private client named Jacob. Jacob was a construction company owner out of Tennessee. 3 kids, 12-year marriage. His wife had told him that she was not sure she could keep doing this. He came into the program about 2 months before Thanksgiving. And when I asked him about his plan for the holiday, how he was going to approach it, he looked at me like I was speaking another language. He said, I figured I would just try to have it be a good day. I told him, being good is not a plan. Being good is hoping. A plan means knowing what bleeding points are active right now, what patterns she is most afraid of seeing repeat, what specific moments in the day are going to test whether you are the old version of yourself or the new one. Jacob spent 3 days building that awareness before Thanksgiving. Not rehearsing lines, not engineering moments, just getting clear on what was underneath the surface of his marriage. What was the wound that she was actually carrying? What were the patterns she's been tracking? And where in a holiday gathering those patterns typically showed up. He did not walk in with a script, he walked in with awareness. And what happened at Thanksgiving, and I have versions of this story more times than I can even count, was not a big moment. It was a small one. His mother-in-law made a comment at the dinner about something from their past. Something that would have made the old Jacob tighten up, get defensive, and make the room very, very uncomfortable. Like you can feel the energy. And he didn't do that. He smiled, he redirected the conversation, he kept the energy in the room stable, and nobody even noticed that it happened, except his wife. She saw it. And later that night, she was warmer than she had been in 3 months. Not because he fixed anything, but because he showed her something new. That is what a holiday game plan actually looks like. It's not a grand moment. It is a set of small, clear ones. So here is the actual framework. There are 2 types of seeds that you want to plant in your marriage that when it comes to repair. There's conscious seeds. Those are the things that you say, the words, the acknowledgments, the moments where you name something instead of avoiding it. And subconscious seeds. Those are what you do when no one is watching for the lesson. The way you hold yourself when the kids are loud and she is overwhelmed. The way that you handle a conversation with her father that normally makes you tighten. The way that you step into a task without being asked instead of waiting to be directed. She does not process subconscious seeds consciously. Okay. She processes them through her nervous system. She does not think, oh, he handled that well. It feels different to be near him. That's the shift. And you cannot manufacture it. You can only become it. Now, here's where most men get stuck when they hear this. They say, okay, so I have to be present and aware and make sense. But how do I actually do that, when everything inside me is still anxious and afraid? Well, that's the right question. Because this is not about acting calm when you're not calm. That doesn't work. She's too attuned to you. This is about developing what I call as groundedness that does not depend on her response. Chess player does not panic when his opponent makes an unexpected move. He already thought 3 moves ahead. Not because he knows the future, but because he has done the preparation. He understands the patterns and he studied what the positions mean and what is required. Most men walk into Easter weekend playing emotional checkers in what requires chess, reacting to every move, recalibrating to her mood, calibrating their piece to her temperature. That is not presence, that is emotional dependency disguised as sensitivity. Presence is walking in, already knowing your ground, already knowing what you're building, already so clear on who you are as a husband and as a father that a cold morning or a difficult in law conversation or a quiet dinner does not shake the foundation. And the Easter game plan comes down to 3 things. 1, know what is underneath the surface. Before the weekend starts, get quiet and honest with yourself. What is she carrying right now? What patterns has she seen from you repeatedly that has eroded her trust? Where in the holiday is that pattern most likely to show up? That awareness alone changes how you walk through the weekend. 2, commit to the subconscious seeds, not grand gestures, the small consistent actions in the moments that were not scripted. The way that you handle the unexpected, the way that you show up for the kids in front of her, the way that you hold yourself when pressure is high and nobody would blame you for cracking. That is the evidence that she has been waiting for, not your apologies, not your declarations, your behavior in the unplanned moments. 3, let the holiday be a data window, not a repair session. This weekend is not the time to have the hard conversation. It is the time to plant seeds that makes the hard conversation possible later. You are not trying to fix the marriage over Easter dinner. You are showing her through 100 small actions over multiple days that man who hurt her is not the same man standing in front of her anymore. That is a shift. That is what changes the emotional temperature, not what you planned for, what you reveal in the moments that were never planned. Now, here's why this matters beyond your marriage. Your kids are going to sit at the table this Easter. They're going to watch how you hold yourself. They're going to absorb the emotional temperature between you and their mother. They're going to carry what they see this weekend into their own adult lives. Every time a man steps up, like really steps up, not perfectly, but genuinely, his children learn what leadership looks like in a home, what love looks like under pressure, what it means to stay when things are hard. You are not just showing your wife who you're becoming, you're showing your children what kind of man is possible. And that is worth getting right. If you're watching this and you want more than concepts, if you want the actual structure, the conversational framework, the step-by-step methodology that takes everything that we have talked about and turns it into a system that you can use, that is what the Heroic Husband Method is built for. The link is in the description. That will take you to a free consultation call with my team. That call is specific to your situation, not generic conversation, not even a pitch. We figure out exactly where you are in your marriage, what is driving what you are experiencing, and what the next clear step looks like for you. You could also grab our book. That link is down in the description below, or you can look us up on Amazon. It is everything that I teach in this method distilled down into something that you could start tonight. Both links are in the description. Easter is just a few days away. The window is open right now, not to fix everything, not to even have a perfect holiday, but to show her and your kids something they have not seen from you in a while. Steadiness, presence, leadership that does not depend on her response. That is the game plan. That is what this weekend can be if you walk in prepared. I'm Noah Allen. Go be the man that your family is waiting for. I'll see you in the next one.